Hello Flosstube and welcome to my channel Stitching in the Fens. My name is Arlene Wild and I'm a mixed media textile artist. I work professionally as Arlene Wild Artist, and I do have a commercial website down below where you can see my shop where I sell my art and also my products. Anyway, Stitching in the Fens is a separate channel, and the idea behind Stitching in the Fens is a place where I can showcase and share my hobbies, my other interests. Some of it will be textiles, some of it won't be textiles. We'll go out on day trips and come with me's and things like that. But it's where I can share I suppose the other things I do with my skills and my talents. So today's episode, before I go any further, it's Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to all of you. If you do not celebrate Easter, then I hope you have a lovely, peaceful and pleasant holiday and weekend time, whatever you're doing. I myself was chilling out today. I mean, this weekend I decided I wasn't going to do anything, and I was busy stitching away, chilling out, and then I thought, I'm just going to record a Flosstube to show you what I've been doing. Now, I stitch a lot of various things. I stitch samplers, I stitch prim, country prim, I stitch modern, I've got Alice in Wonderland, all sorts going on. I'm quite a diverse stitcher. I'm quite interested in lots of things. But I have recently been lured in to the Peter Rabbit stitch along, and I thought I'd just do a small video to show you what I've been up to and a little bit about the stitch along. I've joined a group on Facebook, and I've put the details down below, and I thought I'd share with you what I've been up to. Now, it all started with this magazine, and it's by a company called Hachette. I think that's what they're called. Yes, Hachette, Hachette Part Works. And I saw it in the newsagents, right, and I thought, oh gosh, I really like that, but I'm never gonna stitch it. Am I really gonna? I've got so much stuff in my stash and all the rest of it. Anyway, I'm a big Peter Rabbit fan, and at some point I will do a little supplement to show you some of the interesting things I've made around Peter Rabbit, because I've done quite a bit of journaling. I've got a really nice Peter Rabbit journal and various other things. And when I was pregnant, when I had my daughter, and she's now almost 30, her whole bedroom was Peter Rabbit. Actually, I did like a duvet set for her bed, and I actually did do some cross stitch pieces for her. Heavens knows where they are. They're probably in storage. And then I've got that picture there hanging in my my room, my studio. So yeah, really love it. It's called Peter Rabbit and Benjamin Onions. So as you can see, I'm a bit of a Peter Rabbit fan. On top of that, I do like everything to do with nature. And so that's another thing. And I like little animals. I pulled this one out to show you as well. Now, please don't judge me. My finishing wasn't the best, so I put it a bit closer so you can see it. And that was a freebie in a magazine with a little squirrel, and I finished him off. The little board I just bought in the supermarket. I think we're on holiday somewhere, hence why it's a bit wobbly, because I had to sort of do the best I could with the finishing. Hope you can see that. Whoops, let's get the string out of your way. So yeah, so you can tell that I'm a bit of a fan. Oh, and I found this one as well, this piece here. If you just bear with me, I will get it on the board. I'll just fold it up and get it on the board. So anyway, while I'm doing that, I hope you're doing something fun over Easter. I hope you're having lots of stitchy time, or gardening time, or just chocolate egg time, or if you go to church, you've been going to church, whatever it is you're doing. Now, here's another cute little piece that I pulled out as well. I hope it doesn't flip down. And this is actually a Rendale from Bothy Threads, and it's a kit which I bought. And you can see it's quite sweet as well, and kind of like that sort of same vibe as Peter Rabbit and Beatrix Potter. Now, that little mouse that I just showed you gives you an idea of kind of where my head is at with Peter Rabbit. Now, the idea of it, and I'm going to do a quick little flip through of the magazine as well for you. I'm not showing you any charts, unfortunately, and talk to you a bit about the magazine. But my whole idea with the Peter Rabbit thing is that their idea is that they wanted to do a sampler, or they're sort of leaning towards doing these 4 samplers. Well, I live in a cottage, and so I haven't got that much wall space. Plus, it's only a small part of the stuff I stitch. And I thought, well, I don't really want a sampler. What I'd rather to do is pull out little portraits and put them in fun little frames and things like that, or as a stand-up, or some of them as pillows for my dough bowl, or something like that. But you see, if I bring Mouse back again, as I call it, Mouse, this is what I want to do. You see, Mouse has got like a lot of embellishments. I've added beads. I've added all sorts of things, and that's kind of what I want to do with my Peter Rabbit stitch alongs. Have a bit of fun with them. Now this is my effort thus far. So this is where we are at with this one. Let's put it on the board for you. So it's still on the hoop. I think we're up to part 3. So I'm waiting for the rest of the threads. Now I dyed my fabric. There we go. I dyed my fabric. Just hold it long enough so you can see it. Just very delicately, because I didn't want it to be too overpowering. And if you just bear with me, I will find you. No, it's not very... Oh, here it is. So I don't know how well you can see, but that's where we're going with it. That's the design there. Yeah, so I dyed my fabric, and I decided to go with sparkly Ada. It did call for 14 count Ada, and they did supply Ada as well with the series, because the whole idea is that it's sort of like a kit, but it comes bit by bit. So with each issue, you get more stuff. You get all the things you need pretty much for making the actual figures in the sampler. So you get the fabric, they supply you with needles and all the threads. And then, you know, you just sort of treat it like a kit, but obviously you have to wait until they only give you it bit by bit. So you have to wait until more threads come. So my Peter, this is what, you know, I'll show you again. And little needle minder is from Don't Step on Your Needle on Etsy. Yeah, it was already in my stash. So that's as far as I can go with what I have up to issue 3. Now you have 2 choices with this magazine. You can either subscribe, where you pay, you know, a certain amount each month, but like those book clubs that they used to have, and then they come through the door and they give you a few extra free gifts and a few perks. And at first I thought, oh well, I'll just buy it from the local shops, you know, because it is in the supermarkets. If you're in the UK, it's in Tesco's and Asda and all the main supermarkets. It's at the Co-op. Now the first issue, no problem, picked it up, no problem. And in fact, the first issue was 99p from the shops. So of course I went a little bit bonkers and I bought 3, mostly because the threads in there, and I've unfortunately disbanded the threads, but the threads had all the blues and the whites and the browns for Peter. And I'm thinking, well, I've got loads of other Peter Rabbits in my stash, so you know, I'll be able to use those threads. So basically, and if I do find, I think I have one unopened, I will put a still in for you in the video to show you what it looked like. It's all quite recent. Issue 3 only came out last week, so you probably can still catch up if you want to get involved. Anyway, I bought 3 of those, so I had loads of that. But the other ones, I found that they were like hen's teeth. Honestly, people, I went out. The first one I've picked up no problem. The second one, I had to go to 3 shops to get it. And I'm thinking, oh, and I live in a very rural place, right? So it's like hopping from village to village. They're exactly around the corner. So like, I'm thinking, okay. And then eventually with the second one, when I found it, it was the last one on the shelf in my 3rd Co-op that I visited. So then it was time for issue 3. And I went hopscotching all over the place. I went from one village to the next, nothing. They just looked at me blank. They didn't even remember having it in. So then I found myself, I went half an hour's drive in the car, but really nice, across the, you know, driving across the fence. And I went to Boston, which is a town which is quite a distance from me, quite, you know, down deep in Lincolnshire. And I went to W.H. Smith, which is a newsagent here in the UK. And he says to me, well, he said, if you want one, you got to come in on a Wednesday when we get the delivery. He said, and you better be here for 9, because by 12 o'clock, they're all gone. I thought, right, that's it. That's it. So I left there and it was pouring with rain. drove across the fens, which again, you know, cross country. You can go on the motorways, but I like going across the fens. They're very bumpy, but it's so beautiful, you know. So I drove across the fens, and I thought, okay, it's getting late, but I'm going to stop at one other place, right, which was the village where I originally found the last, you know, the one copy I did find of, you know, number 2. Anyway, went in there. I'm looking, couldn't see it. And like, you know that way when you think, if I look hard enough, I might see it. And I looked and I moved all the magazines. I don't know whether somebody had hidden it. There was one there. Snapped it. I did. Snagged it really quick and got home. But you know what I thought? That's it. No more. I am going to subscribe, because I am not spending my time running all over the fence trying to find a copy of the magazine, because I think it's really caught on, and now you can barely get your hands on it unless you subscribe. So I have subscribed, so I will wait for my little package to turn up so that we can proceed with Peter. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is pause the camera so I can just turn you around, and then we're going to do a quick flip through of the magazines, the ones I've got so far. You can look online and see on their website, obviously, if you want to see more details about it, but I thought it might be interesting just to show you the magazine itself. So if you bear with, we'll do that. Okay, so I've got the magazines all lined up just to give you a quick flip through. A little bit of information about where we're filming. We're actually filming in my art studio. Some of my broadcasts, certainly for this channel, won't be in here. But you know, for today, that's where we are. Also, being a new starter, it's going to take a little while for us to get things, you know, all the edges refined. But really, I want to keep the channel a bit natural as well, and sort of keep it real to how I work. Anyway, let's go look at this magazine. So this one is number 1. You can see that. This was the first one that came out, and it came with the thread pack and Ada for the first. So it was mostly blues and browns. So that's that, and that's the cover there. That's the first sampler that we're going to make. I need to get you a bit of card so I can hide the chart, which is going to come up when I open the page. No, not on that page, no chart there. This shows you all the samplers. Hopefully you can see them, all the different ones. So you've 1, 2, so you can see it's quite a few, because I think each character comes in over a couple of issues. And I think, let's see if there's a chart on this page before I turn over. Let's see, make sure we're only doing 1 page. Bear with. Typical, 2 pages get stuck together. Right, I'm going to cover this chart. So this is the chart for the little fella that I showed you earlier, which I'm working on there. Unfortunately, with some of them, like that Peter Rabbit that I showed you, if I just bring it back over again, just to remind you, that one. With some of these, the ones they provide the threads for, they do not give you the DMC color. You know, the colors are their numbers here. Oops, sorry. Their numbers there and their symbols. However, if you've got a DMC chart, you could easily match up those numbers should you want to stitch it again. So I wouldn't worry about that. You can match the threads. No pattern. And it goes through, especially for beginners, because we've got quite a few beginners on the group. And it's really nice, actually, because the people who are more experienced, we can help the beginners and they ask us questions. But all of them seem to be doing okay. But this will tell you, you know, is as if... Hang on. Bring it over to the side. It's as if, you know, they're assuming that you don't know anything about cross stitch at all. So they do give you some hints and tips on how to do about it. A little apron there. I don't think I'll be making that, but there's something for everyone, you know. Whoops. Nearly. Another chart there. Now this one here, let's have a peek, which is the chart for this embroidery, which was the embroidery of Tom Kitten. I think that's Tom Kitten, which is on this apron. Obviously, you don't need to have to put it on an apron. That one there does have, now they don't give you threads for that one, so not everything has the threads for it. And that one, they do give you the DMC on the other side. I think that's Tom Kitten. There's also that bag there, which they've made, which you don't really have to make a bag. But I think what they're doing is giving you all the letters, the Beatrix Potter letters in cross stitch, so you could do some monogramming or make a present for someone or whatever, or spell your name, or I don't know, whatever you want to do. And there's a sample of a name that you could use, but they do not, I don't think they give you the scripting for that smaller script. Charts on that page, I'm afraid. Yes, they do give you the letters for this script as well, plus each issue has a capital along with the things around it, the embellishments. So I'm not going to show you this page at all because it has 2 charts on it, so we're going to skip that page. There's nothing there. So again, there is the A there, how it will look, and of course the chart is there for all of that, and obviously there is a full alphabet for that scripting should you be interested in that. And then another one included in there. Now this issue, as I said, was the first issue. It was 99p. The only way I think you can get a hold of this now is going through Hachette themselves. So that's for a card, but I intend to make that into a little pillow because I think that's quite sweet, and somebody I think has shown a pillow that they made with it. And then once again, sadly, we have chart. That's the back page there. Which tells you a little bit more about it. It also tells you how she came to write all the books and things. And that's a little bit more about Beatrix on the back. So that's issue number 1. Hopefully you could see all of that. Let's move that one to one side and let's look at issue number 2. So issue number 2 also came with some threads. Of course, I've long since gone in there. I think you had four different colors on this one. So that's issue number 2. Just the back of it there. There's some of the threads. They're showing you the threads. Those came in the first issue, and then these yellows and browns came in the next issue, and that was issue number 3. Now, issue number 2, I think they'd offered it at $2.99. I think if you subscribe, it's still $2.99, and then thereafter they are $4.99. So issue number 3 was $4.99, and again, there are all the samplers there. Turn it over. So that's my Peter in the middle, my little Peter fella. And then those are some of the others. I don't know if I'll stitch all of them either. I'm going to stitch my favorite characters, yes. So I'm thinking I'll do him because I just love Mr. Jeremy Fisher. That's Jemima Puddle Duck. I like her. I think that's Piglet Blythe, I think. Mr. Tiggy Winkle, big favorite. Tom Kitten, even though I'm a cat mummy, I'm not sure about him. Because, you know, you don't have to stitch them all. And I love her. I think she might be from the Bad Mice. Oh, and that one there, that pattern there, you'll see in the book. That one is quite nice, but it's a lot of stitching, guys. So anyway, let's see if we can show you number 2. So we had A, alphabet, and we're going to have B, the chart for that. Again, it starts off telling you about the sampler and that sort of thing. Telling you all the details. All the details are in here as well of how you can subscribe if you want to get the magazine, if you want to take part. And I will put a link at the bottom. So, chart again, chart alert. So I'm just going to cover him up. So this is the same one I'm stitching at the moment, the same Peter. And it goes through again the next stages. Of course, they're assuming that, you know, they want to include everybody. So if you're not a proficient stitcher or you're a new stitcher, you can get on and do it. And then this here is introducing you to the next one, the next one, the one I showed you before, which is Benjamin Bunny. So this is this fella here. I'll just put my hand over. This is Benjamin Bunny. That's the how you know, a sort of what you call it now, the realization of what it's going to look like at the end. Now this is another one that, I mean, the classic example of how what they do is they give you all the DMC colors for this one. They don't give you the colors for this one. So, you know, so you'll have to get your own. You'll have to kit that up yourself, and obviously with your fabric as well. But I've seen it stitched up and it's really nice. Now let's make sure. It's very chart heavy. And these, which I'm just gonna move my fingers so you can vaguely see it but not see it properly. You can, hopefully you can see between my fingers. And this is a back stitch alphabet and scripting that you could use to personalize your piece. That is another bit about Beatrix Potter, and I do have her sketchbook, which is really nice, all her watercolors, and this is some of her watercolor studies and things, and some of the animals. Make sure there are no charts. A bit more about Beatrix there, a bit more about her. And actually, I wish I could find the journals. If at some point I find them, I will post them on Instagram. But I did make up like a little sort of junk journal, which was a sort of mock Victorian photo album with tiny black and white pictures of her and her husband and her life, which I have somewhere in my stash of many finished things. And if I do find it, I will post out on Instagram. But that's a bit about her, the history and things. I think she was a very interesting woman, especially of her time, because she was in the Victorian times when, you know, women were expected to get married and sit quietly and not be writing children's books and publishing things. I think she was extremely talented, very inspirational lady. These are some of her sketches, her watercolors that she did. Yeah. And this is telling you what's coming in the next issue, issue number 4. There's obviously, let me see if I can hold it up for you so you get a better view. That is Jemima Puddle Duck. Something is coming up about Jemima, and she's quite well loved as well. What we got around here? Here we go. So that's the back there, coming in issue 3 to lure you in and tempt you. So that's what's coming in issue 3, and we're going to have a letter C that we can do. And the issue 2, which is that one, was $2.99, which was a special price, and I think if you subscribe you do get that at that price still. Again, the back cover that we looked at before. So that's that one. And let's see, so I'm only up to issue 3, and as I said, I have subscribed, so then I'm gonna have to wait now to get issue 4. And I don't think they send it singly. I think what they do is send a little batch of them, so you can start from wherever you want to start, and because I have 1 to 3 already, I decided to start at 4. So I don't know, so Peter is on hold, but trust me, I've got lots of others to stitch. When you see my whip parade, you'll see what I'm up against. Anyway, back to Beatrix. So this is number 3, and that was C, is the letter there. We have the same sampler picture again, which we saw before. And they've suggested you do like a vintage style book cover. It's up to you. You can do whatever you like. But it's quite nice that they suggest things that you can do with your cross stitch, because you could use like some of these ideas for some of your other projects as well. So look at these 3. I think these are his siblings, aren't they? And there's the sampler. It's a spring sampler. The samplers, by the way, are all in seasons. So sorry, let's go backwards again. So no, it's not on here. Hang on. They're seasonal anyway. So you got a spring, summer, autumn, and a winter sampler. That's the idea. But as I said, you can do whatever you want. You can break them up, which is what I'm gonna do. I think the quality of the magazine is very good. The paper is very nice. Whoops, we got chart coming up again. Okay, we'll use their little flyer thing. Don't know where I put my other bit. So again, it's the same format where you have a little bit more of Peter there, a bit more explanation about how you'd work it. This piece here, which is quite pretty, I think that's really pretty. Again, I wouldn't necessarily use it for a poof cover, but you can use it for a bag, you just use it for a finished piece, a sampler, whatever you want to do. So that's the piece there. That's a sort of computerized realization of what it's going to look like. Again, this one has got the DMC colors. There aren't that many DMC colors actually. If you look at the thread list, it's not too bad. I work a lot in CXCs. So I have a lady in Cornwall. She is on Etsy, who I get my CXCs from, which are the DMC equivalent. They're a lot cheaper. It works at about 25p per skein if I buy them, you know, separately. There we go. And C is coming up with cherries. Quite nice. There we go. Quite cute. I like the flowers too. There is another. Now I'm going to show you one letter, right? So that's another type of alphabet again. And there's the whole alphabet there. There's the family tree of Peter, little bunnies. I mean, it's just a bit of fun, you know. At the end of the day, you know, I do very sort of cerebral. That's the right word. Cerebral work for my main mixed media work. You know, it uses a lot of my mental energy and capacity. And you know, like anybody else, I need to unwind. I need to enjoy. I enjoy my professional work, but I like to have fun, and I keep it light when I'm doing so. For me, I quite enjoy it. I mean, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I am quite a fan, to be honest, of Beatrix Potter. Anyway, for me, she's one of my female heroines, and I do enjoy stitching the characters. There's more on the family tree and how everybody fits together, which is quite good fun. And then, of course, last but not least, a bit of enticement and enabling for number 4. So we're going to be stitching that one, a bit more about them, and we're moving on to D, and they've showed you how they've used this bit of cross stitch to personalize a rucksack. And of course, Jemima Puddle Duck is coming up in 4. So that is the magazine. If I turn it around so you can see it. Yeah, so these are all the samplers actually from that collection we looked at before. So we have spring, which is the one that we're stitching now. We have summer, and then there's autumn, and then there'll be winter, and then all the other little goodies in between. This is just a flyer really, which is promoting the set. Right, so hope you enjoyed that, hope you enjoyed that episode. And until the next time, please remember to like, subscribe, and do check me out on my other channel as well, Arlene Wild Art, and also my website and web shop, Arlene Wild Art, and of course Stitching in the Fens, also on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you. Have a good week. Bye bye.